Copenhagen, which is of course Dutch for land of brightly coloured facades. This game from Queen Games was a real box art. It was a real hit at Tabletop Live, where I was demoing it on the Zatu stand. It is a game of putting your buildings out in the best facade, I keep wanting to say that wrong, possible. And what you're trying to do, rather than normal games with Polymino or Tetrisy pieces, rather than just try and smash together the best filled in areas, you're trying to score rows and columns, or columns and rows. And the building rules for that are really simple. You can build within the grid, but you can build upwards as long as it is supported below by at least one piece. And there's lots of pieces. In a less than 4-player game, you will take out some of these pieces and they come in various colours. Each colour will have a 2, a 3 and a 4 shape. And you'll notice they have windows on. And there are 3 each of these in a 4-player game. There is also only one 5 shape. What I mean by 5 is that it covers 5 spaces on the grid. So what I was saying about building, as long as this one's touching the floor, you can build the other one on the floor, or you can do that, even though in real life we all know gravity sucks. You are only racing to 12 points or 2 times around the deck. Now I find that usually in 4-player games you get through the deck before someone reaches the end, but in less than 4-player games someone will usually hit 12 or more points. And both times this signals the immediate end of the game. This is not a friendly finish like some other games. Oh no, this is a brutal stop as soon as the end game condition is achieved. How are you going to pick all these cards? Well, I'm glad you asked. You will pick the cards in a Ticket to Ride style. So there will be 7 cards laid out face up around the pier here. And on your turn you have 2 options. You can either pick up 2 adjacent cards, and the adjacency does not cross around the barrier of the river where the mermaid statue sits, or you can use cards in your hand, pay them in for a building piece or tile or facade tile. So I have 2 greens here. My options are to try and pick up some more greens, or to place a 2 green piece on my board and discard those 2. Let's say I did that last time. Now I have another option, because if I choose to place a green piece next to an existing green piece, I get a 1 card discount. It's only ever 1 card, no matter how many pieces you place it next to, but it's nice enough anyways. Now, the key to scoring points is those rows and columns and columns and rows. But did you know, no you didn't, because I haven't told you yet, but did you know that if you complete a row or column completely of windows, then you will get double points. Rows go from 1 point to 2 points and columns go from 2 points to 4, meaning that goal of 12 points suddenly seems a lot more closer than it did originally. These are the only way to score points, but to help you in your quest are these bonus tiles. Everyone starts with one that says you may pick non-adjacent cards from the display, and once you've used it you flip it over and it is now out of use. You cannot use it again until you flip it back over. How do you flip it back over? I hear you chomp at the bit. Well, you'll have noticed on my scoreboard all these shields. When you cover up a shield or line up a row with one of the ones on the side, you'll get 1 of 3 bonus actions. You can buy a single little lonely window to fill a gap and then drop it on the floor. we'll get that later, you may get another power tile. Things that let you do 2 actions on one, or both actions on one go. Things that give you a card discount. Things that let you pick up 3 cards, and things that let you use any set of the same colour of cards as a wild colour. So you can build any facade tile, and that's important because remember the facade tiles are limited. Then your last action you can take when you cover a shield is if you've used your powers, you can flip as many of them back over for use again as you have used. All this makes for a really easy game to learn. In fact, the hardest thing people had remembering on the whole of the Tabletop Live was what the actual powers did, and the fact that they could flip all of them, because it's a very generous game in that nature. On your turn, you only ever have 2 options and 1 optional action of using your bonus tiles. People tend to play this first game, the first game, by building really neatly, trying to get loads of window rows and build up neatly as possible, because we're a bit predispositioned to do that as humans. However, once you've played once or listened to your amazing demoer, people start to do things like this, just building columns willy-nilly to get up on the scoreboard, leaving massive untidy gaps in their buildings just to get another shield bonus. And the gameplay is suitably different from all those other games like Barren Park and Patchwork to be something that you might want to play. The Ticket to Ride style card selection works really well. It is immediately familiar to most gamers. Each card has a diagram on showing the various shapes that colour will get you, and the bonuses are well thought out. You do have to choose though, the game is not very long. If you are rarely going to get all 5 bonuses, and if you do, you're probably only going to use them once and then never be able to reset them. So there are choices, there are different strategies here. I think my biggest complaint about Copenhagen came out through demoing it so many times in a row at Tabletop Live, and that's that this is not a game that is strongest when it's played repeated times in a short period of time. It rapidly loses its appeal, a bit like Ticket to Ride to me, although there's a little bit more going on Ticket to Ride. Well, I don't know actually, I'd probably say Ticket to Ride's got a little bit more with the route building and the blocking. The interaction in this is simply down to taking cards you think people want, or taking the last tile, which means you'd have to watch what colour that they're getting to try and take those tiles. Generally, people are so focused down on their own building that they play 3 blues and then realise that everyone else has taken all the blues, and now they're a bit stuck unless they got the magic colour changing tile. So for a short game that's easy to teach, this is quite good. It's a game that I can teach my decrepit parents, my stupid friends, and they can all grasp it and know what they're doing really quickly. There may be a slight runaway leader problem in some games, but the game is over so quickly, and I think this has usually happened when new people are playing the game, and someone who's played it a few times, who knows that they don't have to be tidy to win this game, will just build super efficiently, not worrying overly about windows, although windows are important, and they will get a healthy lead that is hard to catch up with. The shield options are nice and just give it that extra flavour. The question about whether you should buy Copenhagen or not really comes down to how much you like these Tetris-y style games. I have had a lot of these, and my favourite remains Barren Park. Copenhagen does come close to toppling Barren Park for me, but not quite enough. The one downside for Barren Park is the lengthy setup time, with you having to put different numbers of each component out depending on the player account. Here, Copenhagen scores a big win over Barren Park, because literally the most you're going to be moving is a couple of tiles from each colour. The game is quick to set up, quick to understand, and a pleasant little experience. So, will Copenhagen be staying in my collection? Well, it's on the verge. If it's not in my collection, I would quite like to know that there is a copy nearby for me to play. Would I play it again? Absolutely, just not 5 times in a row where I'm teaching it. Would I recommend it to friends? Again, absolutely, particularly friends who've perhaps just started the hobby with Ticket to Ride and are looking for another similar game that does something a bit different. This is perfect for that. So, in summary, Copenhagen is a pretty themeless, but pretty Tetris-y style game with easy to grasp components and a little bit more intrigue than just trying to fill a box as completely as possible. Thanks very much for watching Zatu Reviews. We will see you next time.